So today's demonstration will be on the Dash 2000 patient monitor by GE. I'm going to go through some of the features that it has to offer as well as the test procedure. So without further ado, let's get started. GE does a very good job in making these monitors user-friendly. So the first thing they do is they color code everything. All the different features are color coded. So you have the black, which is a non-invasive blood pressure. You got the ECG, which is green, and the blue is the SpO2. Real simple connectors, easy to plug in and unplug. So what we'll take a look at first is we want to test the non-invasive blood pressure, right, which is the black. So in order to do that, I've got my Pronk SimCube, and we're just going to go ahead and turn that on and go ahead and hit this button here for a non-invasive blood pressure, and you're going to hear it kick on. So what it's doing is it's filling that blood pressure cuff, and it's going to want to fill that up beyond the range that we have it set for. So the range is set for 120/80, which ideally that's what we want to see on the display when this is done. So, and you can hear it. It's releasing the pressure now. So while it's doing its thing there, I want to show you the ECG. So we're going to test the ECG. We've got a Fluke simulator here. Real simple, basic setup here. It's, again, all color coded. These alligator clips make it real easy just to clip it in here. We got color codes here on the outside of the unit. We'll show you where to plug them in. So we got white, we've got red, and we've got black. Okay. So once you get those plugged in, right now I've set this at 80 beats per minute. So we're gonna just let that do its thing. The reason I skipped ahead a little bit is because it takes a couple of seconds for that non-invasive blood pressure cuff to fill up and then get a reading on here. So, and there we go. So it's not determining. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit that again. Sometimes it doesn't work the first time, you have to do it again. So also, this is a good way to show you that if there's any kind of leak in your tubing, you will get that reading there. So you want to make sure all your connections are tight. Pronk does a good job in providing a whole host of different connectors to be used with their SimCube. They realize that there's a lot of different types of blood pressure units out there, and if you're going to use their product, you're going to need some connectors to fit it. So they probably have a dozen different connectors in there along with some short tubing. As you can see, we've used 4 or 5 of them here just to set this up. So while that's doing its thing, let's go ahead and skip over here to the SpO2. Real basic setup, and turn that on. SpO2 is, we're going to go ahead and set this at 98% SpO2. So again, that's made by Pronk, really handy little gadget. So we're going to see that SpO2 come up to 98% because that's what I have it set on the SimCube. So we're at 97 now, and you can hear the air escaping from the non-invasive blood pressure. So it's doing its thing. That cuff is tight. You don't really want to move the hoses or the cuff while it's going through this process because it's listening for sounds in that hose, and if it picks up some sounds that it's not supposed to, you might get some bad readings. So that's why the doctor or the nurse will ask you to sit still when you have your blood pressure taken. So, all right, so we got 90 on our 80 on our ECG. We've got 96 on our SpO2, which is a little bit low. It's set at 98. So coming in at 96, I might check that out, but for the sake of this demonstration, we're not going to calibrate anything. That's just showing you the test procedure to it. Okay, so with each of these different features, there's high and low readings. If you get above a high reading or below a low reading, you'll get an alarm. So we're gonna test those alarms right now. Okay, so now let me pause for 1 second. Our non-invasive blood pressure is reading at 119/70. 120/80 is the reading that we should be getting. Technically, this would fail because it's got a 70 for the one of the readings. So, which is 10% is typically the range. So you're looking at 72 being the very lowest it should go. So we would fail this unit. We tag it. We document in the system that through the test procedure, it failed. The blood pressure reading gave too low of a reading, or we might go into the cal mode and go ahead and bump it up and then redo this whole process. So that's actually probably what we would do. So let's go ahead and test now the parameters of the alarm. So on this one, it's set at 150 as a high, 50 as a low right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this down to 45. So what it's gonna do is it should drop here down to 45, and once it gets below 50, it should alarm. So that way I know the alarm's working like it's supposed to. And this will also turn red, and there you go. So I have the alarm silenced. That's what it would sound like. So we'll go ahead and bump that back up to 80. Once it gets above the 50, then the alarm will stop. There we go, 52. Okay, so I'm also gonna, on the SpO2, I'm gonna bump that down to 85%. Now the parameters for the SpO2 are 105 as a high and 90 as a low. So once that drops down below 90, it will alarm. And 82. Okay, so we'll go ahead and bump that back up to 98. And you'll see that that should go up. And there we go. Okay, so that's basically the way you test a patient monitor with these pieces of test equipment. So hope you've enjoyed it. Have a good evening.